Hey everyone, this is Zooey7 and I am streaming the Lord of the Rings Online, and the first thing I want to point out in this stream is I believe I do have my PC working today. So I know last stream, which was yesterday afternoon, evening-ish time, don't even remember exactly, I ran into issues with my upgraded PC build, upgraded the motherboard and the CPU, and ran into a lot of issues. One of the things some people are commenting was perhaps I had some RAM issues, and that does appear to be the case. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I am also still sporting my new setup, used it for the first time in the last stream and still have that. So what I thought I would do at the beginning here is maybe share a little bit about that, but first, I guess I should point out what I'm actually doing today in LOTRO, which is just questing and leveling in Bree-land on my Guardian on Treebeard. So we left off getting the Andrath quests and have to do those, so I'll be running into a lot of Brigands. We'll see how I handle them. Currently running still on tier 3 with this character. I think level 20 is the point I might consider looking at changing that. It would be increasing if anything, don't plan to decrease. But to go about my setup a little bit more, so if I zoom out, let's see. So this is how I have it, the face cam position, but the webcam can actually zoom out quite a bit. This is one level zoomed out, and this is all the way out. So this is actually what it looks like more full behind me. And then zoomed way in, this is my microphone, usually don't show that. Zoomed way in, this is what it looks like. And also with the audio, I hope that is working. Again, last time I wasn't entirely sure because with the new setup, the microphone is positioned a little bit different, even though I try to keep it relatively as close to my mouth as it was. Perhaps could have some issues with that, but as far as my testing has gone and the feedback from the last stream, that worked out okay. The Way of the Tortoise sounds like a fitting kin name for this server. Hello, Salty Scrunt, you can hear me, that is good news. Which, speaking of that, speaking of chat, I did want to give a little mention to a couple of people. TJ Smith said that they were gonna maybe be here but won't be able to make it, unfortunately. And then there was also somebody who commented on my last stream, the video format. I know some people do that, and just want to give a mention to Roland, who said they always miss the stream. I'm guessing they're in Europe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's at least nighttime when I stream, and I know that's true for a lot of EU area type viewers. That is one thing with YouTube, I guess is a good thing, is streams become regular videos after they are up. So that's something I always try to keep in mind. Have them in good video format. And glad to know the audio is working, it sounds like, in the microphone more specifically. One thing I do want to point out is my face cam in general is very gray, and I don't like that. I'm wearing a gray shirt, kind of unintentionally, and then just everything looks gray in the background. I can't do much about the walls because I live in an apartment and can't really paint those or anything. But maybe I can add some decorations and the such. The Middle Earth map was so nice because it added a lot of color. It was oddly green. It looks a little bit greener than I think it did in the actual face cam, the way the webcam picked it up, but it looked quite nice in that. So maybe going to try to add some stuff. I considered actually placing the map. That's one thing I did want to talk about. The cat tree behind me would be, that's this way. The cat tree behind me would be the one place that I feel like I could place that and actually show. But when I'm in the zoomed in format, I'm not quite sure, and I think it would look just weird overall. It looked weird before, but at least looked weird in a way that made sense a little bit more. So Stormwell, if you are leveling up on Treebeard, I hope you are enjoying it. I'm quite enjoying this server. So far on tier 3, I don't have to quite pay attention as much as I initially thought I would. Usually I have to pay attention, I guess, chain pulling, but single mobs, it's still pretty easy combat going against a single mob. It's when we get that effect and I pull a bunch of enemies or have like a signature or something, so that's the type of difficulty I feel like is good. It looks like I still have my subscriber town services. It honestly feels like it's been forever since I played, but I guess that was just yesterday that we were here and I got this character prepared, and it looks like he's still ready for this adventure in Andrath. So maybe I should look at, looks like I got a bunch of random drops that, yeah, would be upgrades. That weapon's an upgrade. I think I am a weaponsmith. I might be able to craft myself something, like a level 18 weapon, it looks like. Probably wouldn't do agility, would, I guess, do deflection. But anyway, we can go ahead and lock all the useful stuff here. If I knew a Warden, I would save that shield for them. Let's see, sure, just want to make sure I'm not locking a useful piece of armor. I have some medium armor. I don't know why I have that on this character, to be honest. Wait, that's not crafted armor, never mind. I'm just confusing myself there. But with the PC, as anybody who was here yesterday likely remembers, I kept getting blue screens of death, which is not ideal, especially not ideal when streaming. So the issue, I think, was my RAM, but I'm still not entirely sure 100% that it was the RAM, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what is wrong with it. So first of all, I did reinstall Windows on a new drive, so I'm actually running Windows on the different drive and have a lot of things starting fresh with it. I reinstalled a lot of my programs, things like OBS and Discord and all the usual stuff. So I think everything as far as the stream goes should still be set up as normal, and as far as LOTRO goes, I copied all my settings, basically copied the Lord of the Rings Online folder from the documents, and that preserved a lot of my settings, my keybinds and the such. All that is still good, because I still actually do have Windows on the other drive. I didn't uninstall it or delete all that stuff yet, or like reformat the drive or anything. Didn't do that, so I still have that as an option to potentially go back to, because I think it is a RAM issue. Now, I don't know if I will want to go back to Windows, or, oh no, I'm not paying attention. Gotta pay attention to combat. I guess I'm not used to that. I've gotten too used to being able to just talk and not pay attention to what I'm doing in this game, I suppose. The game has been training me to not pay attention in combat. Yeah, I'm going to have to run away. Hopefully they don't throw anything. I know some enemies throw things. I have some rejuvenation potions. Might be worth using those. Or if I can run away, that's fine too. You're level 18 and barely started the quest in Bree-land. That's a pretty good level to get to Bree. I know this character I just did Arrow the Wind, finished all the deeds and the such, and then moved on to Bree-land. I've heard some people have done like 2 intro zones. That would be something like Arrow the Wind and the Shire, or the intro part of Bree-land and Arrow the Wind, just some sort of combination like that to get extra XP. I'm guessing I'm going to spend a lot of time here in Bree-land on this character. I'll probably do the Barrow Downs. I'll probably do that on my Runekeeper as well with the group. So we'll do the Barrow Downs, but I think before that I would like to do a lot of the Northern Breefield stuff, and maybe, I think there are Orcs and maybe Brigands up there. Will be the strategy with this character to get all my XP and the such. And then ideally, I would actually move to North Downs. It's been a long time since I've done that zone. Would really look forward to it with a slow down XP, because I feel like that is a zone that really runs into the issue of over leveling. I don't know why, but I guess in my experience that's just, it seems to be the worst one of the worst ones as far as over leveling it for me. Usually it's the middle levels that are like so skippable. So it's like the middle chunk of the zone I just often skip, partially because of over leveling and wanting to get to Estelden. Okay, I should also look at this character's traits. I guess I'm progressing slowly with my trait points because I'm leveling up slowly, but yeah, there's one thing I want to do before we get going while I'm reminded of it, is I want to pull up HW. Oh, I hope I haven't crashed. Okay. That was scary. My PC has been fine all day, was fine after the stream all evening yesterday. I still haven't talked why I think the RAM is the issue. There we go. HW monitor takes forever to open. Okay, put that where I can see it. I do have some other changes coming to my setup. It's still not finalized, but I think what you all see for the most part, it's more peripherals that will help me and be more on my end and the such. And SW, to get to your message, I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. Sorry about that, but you said you had a big football match, it sounds like. So a lot of people are up tonight in that area, so I guess that's good. Perhaps can have some of those viewers join. But just wanted to pull up HW monitor to check on my CPU temperature, just because there's a little bit of concern with it being a new CPU, using the same cooler as my old one. A little bit of concern there, but looks like we are all good on that still. I just heard my fans kicking up in speed, which is a good thing. That means they're working to keep things cool. Okay, we're going to actually pay attention to combat a little bit. It also makes me pay attention, I guess, to what skills are actually strong and good to use. Things like Vexing Blow and Sweeping Cut at this point aren't all that strong. And these single target abilities do a lot more damage. Even against 2 targets, it seems like I can get more out of just doing single target abilities and getting 1 enemy killed before prioritizing, I guess, the AoEs. It's a double red square box there. It is liquid cool. Is a liquid cooling cooler. The odd thing is, so this is something I found out, I think it was after I already ordered the new CPU, is my old CPU was getting quite hot. It was getting up to like the 90 degrees Celsius, a little bit above that occasionally. I didn't really test it all that much. I just know it was going up there. Don't know how long or anything with that, so perhaps my CPU was actually overheating for a period there. I thought I saw something with low health, but it might have just been a weird LOTRO thing. And perhaps some of the performance issues I have been running into with, like, usually when I've run into issues lately, it's been the editing process or even making thumbnails. A little bit of lag in LOTRO, but that hasn't been really out of the ordinary. Or playing other games, nothing has been super out of the ordinary. But I'm thinking perhaps an issue is my old CPU could have been overheating. And I would guess the reason why is just the thermal paste was a little bit iffy looking when I took the cooler off. Okay, let's get back to chat. I know I'm not quite all caught up. And Thomas, thank you for wishing everyone a good one, good day, good stream here in the chat. And then Stormwolf, you said you did, to get level 18, all you did was the Deeds and Quest in Era of the Wind. So I wonder if you did all of the quests in Era of the Wind. I will say I didn't do all the dwarf. CPU right now is in the 50s, 40s degrees Celsius. Just to clarify, it's around 120 to 130 Fahrenheit, which is quite hot, but not for CPU. Would not want to touch it right now. Okay, I do have to pay attention a little bit to the pathing in PCs here, I think. Make sure I don't pull too many at once. Let's go ahead and get one of these crates. Actually, I have plenty of caravan goods. Don't need to worry about that, I don't think. Let's see. How about the half-orc? I don't know why. I feel like they're one I have to pay attention to a little bit more. And then the other thing is, Patrick, you asked about Captain Healing. Oops, I thought I killed the half-orc. I don't know why I thought I killed it, but thought I did. And by the way, if anybody's wondering, I'll get to your message in a moment, Patrick, but if anyone is wondering, right now I'm running maxed out settings, actually. That's something I don't have DirectX 11. I thought I was running maxed out settings, but looks like I'm having an issue of not getting... I am running the 64-bit client, I hope. Yes, I am running the 64-bit client. Don't know why I don't have DX10 and DX11. I know there can sometimes be issues with that with LOTRO. I don't, off the top of my head, remember exactly what to do about that, but I know issues can happen there. So maybe I will just have to look into that. Let's go ahead and use some consumables. The old CPU was the one I don't know for sure that it was overheating, but when I did briefly check, it was in... I saw it was getting to the 90s, basically, which is, I guess, hotter than I would prefer. But anyway, Patrick, you asked how the captain healing is, and you've spec'd down the blue line, and you're loving the healing. Yeah, so DirectX, perhaps the reason would be because I just reinstalled Windows and didn't actually get that. That would be my first guess and first thing I would do to actually get that working. But otherwise, I am running maxed out settings right now. Performance seems to be pretty good, so happy with that. But I know this is taking forever. Keep getting distracted. So yeah, Captain I would say is the closest to Holy Paladin and WoW as a melee-oriented healer. But you said you've heard it's bad at max level though, and it is true that it's not as strong as a primary healer. It is more of an off-healer type thing, is what I would describe it. It has some regular support built in from the class, the Captain class, but overall, as far as raw healing output and the such, it is not quite up to par with the other main healers in the game. But otherwise, it's pretty decent. If you don't have another healing option, it's good. And while leveling and the such, if you do group content while leveling or just play with people while leveling, you'll probably be able to heal decently with it. The main strength of the Captain healing is that they have a lot of overtime heals and area heals. They just don't have the strongest single target heals and don't have the strong emergency heals that the other classes have for single targets especially. So a lot of your healing is more passive over time is the way it works. That's why perhaps a self-healing tank could be a good option to pair with the blue Captain if you really want to go with that. Especially for easier content. I also think a lot of people run blue Captains for 6-mans, if I remember correctly, even at like higher tiers and the such. Okay, so as far as stuff I need to do, we have the half-orc leader, who I thought was down here, down this little square. Yeah, sorry for the delay. I know that took forever to actually get to talking about that. But I think the half-orc leader is somewhere in that little square down where we were, that area. So jump down there safely, preferably. I have 2 shadows right now. There's a blade bearer. So I thought the half-orc leader might run around a little bit. Let's see, must have. That is deliver the goods. Okay. And then Southern Fiend is the half-orc leader, so he might appear here. And there's the half-orc boss. I think that's who I need, but let's take these 2 mobs and hope I don't pull the 3rd one. I really feel the need for Stamp, but I should get that at level 20, I think. And if I remember correctly, that's when corruptions will become really bad with the Eye of Sauron effect from being on Deadly tier. And then, Wolfmega, you said on Shadowfax you have more captains than every other class combined, and then maybe you have Minstrel and Runekeeper, so a lot of heals and no DPS. Yeah, captains without people to support that do good can be a little bit odd. Have to have good DPS to take advantage of all the DPS boost as a captain. And on top of that, having people to heal would also be a good thing, and all the such. I'm curious what we have. You have me curious on what we actually have on the server. I probably have to pay attention. Have 2 people on in my kinship, I saw. Again, my kin I think is primarily sticking to Anor, but I know a few people, such as maybe the ones that are on right now, are still playing on the server, perhaps even most of their playtime, because it's something new and interesting. That is the case for myself. As you all see, I am I am still labeling these streams by part, so I'm doing my 5th Treebeard stream, but let's check the classes. So uncheck them all, see if there are any brawlers. Okay, no brawlers. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. We'll just go down the alphabetically. 38, 28, 98, lots of hunters here. Yeah, I think hunters take the cake by far. I think minstrel has been the second most I have seen. Guardian and champion were a little bit close, but yeah, hunter, then minstrel. Yeah, tons of hunters. Hunter just blows everything out. I think Hunter's a decent choice for running high tier. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but I also think Yellow Runekeeper could be good. Stormwolf, you mentioned you are a Runekeeper, and yeah, for my Runekeeper, he's primarily for the group stuff with my kinship here, but I could see Yellow Runekeeper being good because of their ability to crowd control and the such, and just prevent mobs from actually hitting you. And then hello to Gingin. For people that don't know, Gingin makes, I need to pay attention. That was scary. Gingin does make, let's see, content on YouTube, and I think streams on Twitch as well. Does a lot of endgame stuff as far as I know. But you said you wanted to pop in and say good job with the content for the game and you enjoyed the interview. And I'm glad you enjoyed the interview. And I appreciate you stopping into the stream, and I will try to keep up the good work. I also hope you keep up the good work. Not many LOTRO content creators, so always nice to run into them and the such. So Rift, that would be on the Shadowfax server. You all did Rift with 9 healers and 2 tanks because nobody was playing DPS. That is crazy. That's like, again, looking at this server, Treebeard, I was mostly Hunter, which would provide plenty of DPS. There's 97. This is, of course, non-anonymous. There could be plenty healers and tanks and the such anonymous, but I don't think there's a reason to suspect there would be more so. That would be more so true with like healers and tanks compared to DPS. But anyway, that really is, I think, crazy to run Rift with 9 healers and 2 tanks just because there are no DPS. I suppose it works. You can just keep the tanks alive unless I don't think there's a DPS race fight in Rift as far as I remember. But yeah, that's the only issue I could potentially see. I need to slow down. Okay, so I need Neeker Breakers. I think I can get a good number of them up here, but there's also a Neeker Breaker Slayer Deed, right? I think there is. We'll kill one and find out for sure, but it could be a good time for me to actually work on that Dado to give me some XP. It's something I want to do anyway, and this is a good point to do it. But in that little lake area up there in the northeast, there are lots of Neeker Breakers, so might actually head there. And go ahead and knock out that deed, I think. Or at least get some progress on it. Could be a time. I'm almost at the point where I'd actually consider going through all the gift boxes, yearly gift boxes I get, and trying to find those Slayer Deed boosting scrolls. Don't even remember all the sources for those, but I just know characters I make get so many of those. But I'm not sure for this particular deed, or right at this moment, that I'm quite ready to do that, but it's something I need to keep in mind just because I know I always forget I actually have those. This game looks quite nice on max settings. Like, I know the game hasn't looked bad on the settings I used to have, but actually turning it up all the way to max, I definitely noticed some things that used to be missing appearing. One of the big ones is, I guess, lighting quality and shadows. They actually make a difference, it seems like, compared to what I used to have. It definitely makes a difference to me. Don't even have per pixel lighting attenuation. I don't like the DX10 distant landscape lighting, so I usually turn that off anyway. I don't think it adds, I actually think it lowers the visual quality, to me at least. Bloom intensity, I turned the wrong thing down. This was what I was wanting to check, the other slider up here. Frill density, I usually like that down, but in this place, in Bree-land, I think I actually like the grass being pretty dense. The problem I run into, I guess, is higher level zones. I don't like it to be that dense. So maybe we'll go with something like 50 here. But if I turn it down to 10, actually if I turn it down to 0, that turns it down a little bit too much. But there are basically certain zones, we can even go to 100 now since I'm liking it at the moment, but I guess there are certain zones in LOTRO where I don't really like the frills all that much and don't like them appearing that densely, but I will say what they have here in the southern Bree-land area, down on these fields, to me looks pretty good, so I'll actually keep that up. I think that's one of the bigger things just as far as general landscape, because I've always had the frills down so low that I find myself actually liking here. This eye effect, I don't think I've been in combat for a long time and it's still going, unfortunately. I know I can turn the processing effects off to get rid of that. For anybody curious that is playing on these servers, that is something you can do. I don't know if there's a particular setting you can turn off, but if I turn that off, it'll get rid of the blur effect. I will still have the eye over my head. I don't mind the blur effect occasionally going on, but constantly being on, or even on as long as it is, even when I'm out of combat, is kind of annoying. I know they're planning on fixing that maybe next week, or we're already on Sunday, so maybe even this week with a patch. Don't know when they'll have a patch, but when they do, we could have that fixed. But Stormwolf, I don't remember if I commented on this, but you got highest to level 26 for your character. You said you're a Runekeeper. If I remember correctly, you are level 18. You are that person, level 18, and on the Treebeard server where I am. So hopefully the server is maybe not the best for fast leveling, but hopefully you can get one higher level. And I think there are a lot of exciting areas. Not that I really like the low level zones, even getting like around the 26th point. Like a lot of the content up until then. Is this a second Necro Breaker, or did it heal all the way up? I think that healed all the way up or something. I don't know what happened there actually. I want to see what happens with this one. I didn't think they healed when they burrowed. That one didn't. Also should maybe add the Slayer. We'll go ahead and untrack a couple of these quests. I'll go ahead and add the deed to my tracking panel thing. To my quest tracker. I don't know why my voice just totally cut off in the middle of that word. Well, there we go. Oh, that is the wrong one. That is Brigands. Which maybe I should work on Brigands as well. I don't remember if there are Brigands in the north. I think it's primarily orcs. But there might be Brigands. Either way, could be good to go ahead and get that done, potentially. Otherwise, for my virtues, because I've been doing so many deeds on this character, they're actually a little bit higher level than I'd like almost. It's kind of like I feel like I'm wasting virtue XP. I'm not really wasting virtue XP, but I would rather continue progressing on my main 5, especially at this point, compared to getting a bunch of XP on random side ones, or potential options, I guess is what they would be. Of course, at this point, also with this character, I never intended to get virtue XP on things like determination, discipline, and empathy. Even charity, all that is accidental gains on those, unfortunately. So Helagrod gives 130 gear instead of 105 now? I wonder why it took them so long to fix that, because we've had that issue at least since the original Legendary servers launched with Anora and Ithil. That has, been in the game since then, I don't know why they decided to fix it with this go around. Maybe it's the green ones that heal when they burrow. I don't think it happened with the brownish ones, but this green one I think did. But yeah, that's kind of weird. I guess it's a good thing that it's fixed. I don't know if that has any implications to level 130. I'm guessing it's not scaled all that well to 130, but maybe it is. I guess the unfortunate thing is for Anor, and no longer Ithil, but for Anor, running that stuff will no longer give 105 gear, which could have potentially been useful for players on those servers, such as my Warden. One of my Wardens, at least. Okay, continue with the Knicker Breakers. Hello, Shiniro, which, by the way, Shiniro, I guess you weren't here for the start of the stream. I do think it was a RAM issue with my computer. So I've had no crashes today at all. I did not have a crash after yesterday's stream. And it's been fine ever since that last reset of the RAM. So the last thing I did, last change I did to my PC, I guess second to last, I did technically do 2 changes. I kind of forgot about the second one, but I did reinstall Windows on a new drive. That's currently what I'm using. I still have the old drive, it still has Windows on it, still has everything on it, but yeah, it's still, I am running on the new drive and everything is reset with all that and the such. But anyway, with the RAM, I have 2 RAM sticks in there. Both are a set of 2, and each are 16 gigabytes. But, so that means I should have 32 gigabytes of RAM. But I only have 16 gigabytes, so for some reason, and I did not notice this until a few hours ago, for some reason, it doesn't seem to be recognizing the second RAM stick, even though I have it put in there. I put it in a different slot is what happened, and I thought that I put it in a connected slot. I don't remember the technical name for it. I think there's a technical name for that when you put them in the correct slots. I thought they were in the correct slots in the first place, but I thought maybe that was the issue in the way they labeled it, was just in a weird way. But anyway, currently I'm down to 16 gigabytes of RAM when I potentially had 48 gigabytes at a point. And I might look into that further, but I wanted to make sure I was good for this stream before I messed with anything else. And I can test if reinstalling Windows was actually the issue. And that, oh, that poison. I almost pulled that next sneaker breaker, but I think I need to calm down for a minute. Which is, I never told you all why I was so late today. I meant to. But I had a Dungeons and Dragons session go late. So randomly, like 30 minutes into the stream, you'll finally find out why I was like 20 minutes late or whatever I was late. Okay, so I need food. Yes, I need this food. Might as well go ahead and eat the other food. But yeah, CPU temps, all that looks fine. That was what I, and maybe some other people, I don't remember, thought could be a potential issue, because that's what changed. What changed was my motherboard and CPU. Of course, I think both of those can somehow be connected to the RAM. Of course, the motherboard is what the RAM actually connects to. But those were the 2 new things. Let's see, more Knicker Breakers, hunting Knicker Breakers. Hello, Obi-Cat Kitanobi. I'm not on max difficulty today. We are on, when I run with my kin, we're on max difficulty, but this character is just on tier 3. I don't know that he'd be surviving all that well on tier 9. Ooh, lag. That's not good. Oh, there's a random hobbit. Turtle catcher. I think there's some sort of turtle quest. I don't know if it goes here. if these guys are related to that, but I know there's a turtle quest that might be not really obvious. I think it's from some sort of wanted signs inside Breetown. For people that don't know, there's a whole quest series with that. I don't even know if I've done the whole thing, I'm just aware of that being a thing. I think for some reason I usually skip it, and I don't know exactly why. Perhaps it could be something I forget about actually, but would like to try to do that with this character maybe. I see a bear there, and some other character. Oh, gotta tap these. A botulinum toxin. I might have been a little bit close. I have to thank them for pulling those to me. A baba chul. I might have to spend the rest of this stream just trying to pronounce their names. What level are they? 17? Let's see, they're running at least deadly. Oh, they're running tier 9, wow. They're running on maximum difficulty. Making me seem like I'm on easy mode right now. Yeah, so the compatible RAM, my RAM should be compatible, all 4 of my sticks, but maybe there is just some issue with it. All 4 of my sticks, so I have 2 sets of 2 RAM, and actually I think I put them away now. I had 8 gigabytes and 1 set of 2, so each stick was 4 gigabytes, I think. No, it was 8 gigabytes. I always get that mixed up for some reason. I always forget because I haven't used those RAM chips, I forgot what they were. I think I had an old set that was 2 4 gigabytes. They were DDR3 before I changed my CPU. Okay, maybe they got what they needed. That was some nice help, even though they were on tier 9. Or maybe they got tired of me helping. I'm excited for level 20 because level 20 I can run the Wildwood 3-man, which is going to be the Old Forest one, Will of the Willow. Could get some decent gear from that at level 20, I think, potentially. I don't remember exactly what drops and how it scales at the level, but I thought it was pretty decent. I think crafted gear is still better. Also could run Great Barrow just to get some group content. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up at level 20. Of course, level 20 is going to be a while away. We're getting 40% of normal XP, a little bit more on the mob kills just because then I get 20% increase from the deadly difficulty and the such. And I have actually updated my bios. That was before I ran into these issues, actually. I think I am not on the latest build, but I'm on a newer build than it came with. There was some reason I did that. Maybe it was after the crashing? I don't remember. But I know I have updated the bios at least. On Shadowfax, it's all Ingmar stuff since y'all go so fast. Yeah, hopefully by the time I get to Great Barrow, people will still run it. I think this is the first time I've run into low FPS. Low meaning in the 50s, it looks like. Oh, it's Bree. I'm probably rendering all the stuff in Bree now and running into that choppiness. One thing I'm not looking at right now is my GPU usage, which once again, my GPU is being utilized way more than it used to be. I know I'm running higher settings right now, which could be one reason. But my GPU is being utilized way more with the new CPU overall still. It's running at pretty normal temperatures as far as under stress with the under big load with the GPU, but in the 70s. I'm just glad to see it being actually worked in LOTRO. It's an old GTX 970, which again, on that topic, that's something I'm still looking into upgrading. But the problem is I have to be able to buy something, and see my FPS is getting down to 40 now that I'm like right around Bree. Actually, I was completing stuff, and then my FPS went back up. It's like right here. That is weird. If I'm right here, my FPS is in the 40s. Okay, still sometimes run into the 40s briefly, but up here, now I'm at 60. That's so weird. I don't know why being farther away would make things worse with Bree, but it does seem to be getting better as I'm getting closer to Bree. And then if I face this way, it's just pretty smooth. CPU temperature still doing good. I did have one core peak up to 74 degrees Celsius. But usually it seems like they're about 50, 60-ish right now. Yeah, it's entirely possible. See, even back here, now I'm getting 40s. I might have to ultimately turn my settings down. I just thought because when I loaded the game up, I had OBS running and I was at a smooth 60, thought I would just keep that. And then I can turn things down as I need to, which is usually what I do anyway. Also, OBS itself, if I close OBS, that actually impacts performance by a decent amount, unfortunately. I don't even have to be like recording or streaming, just having OBS itself up for some reason likes to drop my FPS. Looked into those issues a long time ago. Yeah, these green Meeker Breakers healing is kind of something I didn't know happened. I guess they never lived long enough for me to even realize that was a thing, or even after they came back up, they still died so quickly that never realized it was a thing they do. So you run LOTRO on medium with I'm not familiar with the Ryzen 7. 1070, also not familiar with that one. Unless that's like an i7 10700 or i9 10700, whatever it would be. Oh, GTX 1070. It's probably that one. That would make more sense. I think that would make most sense. Of all my things to guess what a 1070 is, I do think that's a GTX 1070. So you get 50 to 60 with a 60 FPS cap. Yet for me, it's usually the newer areas. Even with the old setup and all the such, the newer areas were always the most worst. Bree, that is one that is bad. But we had Bree, then we had Bree, and then Battle for Pelennor Fields. I just remembered the battle being oh yeah, I'm not done with the Meeker Breakers. It's like my character wanted to move on. He needed a break from swinging the axe around, which, by the way, speaking of swinging the axe around, I see I have a few weapons locked here. Perhaps one could be worth equipping, and I don't think so. These can all be trashed, essentially. Adventure Seeker frame, might as well use that. Speaking of frame, okay, I already have the Blaze of Hope frame. Have a good one. It's probably still my favorite frame that I have on any character. But other than that, a lot of new areas, especially after Mordor. It seems like after Mordor, things start to get laggy again. Some particularly bad areas are some of the Mists of Wilderland types. Woe of the Willow, yes, Woe of the Willow would be included in the Wildwoods quest pack, which would be, you have to get that particular quest pack, which you could get through the LOTRO store or being VIP to do Woe of the Willow. Hey there, Dan's Adventures. Yeah, I was hoping to get a little bit more out from the producer when I did the interview about optimization, but unfortunately there didn't seem to be much big commentary on that. Yeah, the monetization and the store in general, definitely confusing in LOTRO. I think one of the big weak points of the game, especially from a new player's perspective, which, speaking of the interview, that's something I know Verninia, the producer for LOTRO, wants to change, and hopefully does actually, is able to enact some sort of change, and we will see either a completely new monetization system or revamped enough, which you could kind of consider that completely new, but basically, ideally completely overhaul it so that it's not as confusing, not as intimidating, and not as expensive. All three of those at once would be ideal. Even as somebody who already owns the content, it's something that wasn't all that bad, getting all this stuff over time, but for a new player just wanting to start out, it's quite a lot and quite confusing at the same time. The way they have quest packs, expansion packs, and then they even have expansion quests, they have bundles, there's maybe even more stuff than that. I think there are there's the expansions bundles, but then there are also like the Curator bundle, things like that. There are some starter packs. Some things I think are also confusing if they're account-wide or per character, that doesn't really tell you. An example of something that is not account-wide is if you spend 100 mythical coins to get the third trait configuration, and then something that is account-wide that seems maybe a little bit similar, although you have to get in the LOTRO store, there is that difference, is getting the cosmetic outfit there. That is account-wide, which I usually like account-wide things like that. But as far as I know, there's nothing that really explains that it is account-wide. You have to rely on other sources, which I don't even remember. I think I looked at the LOTRO wiki and it might have said it was account-wide, but sometimes you can't always know for sure that things like that are reliable. Anyway. This water here looks really nice. It's one thing, water that is in motion like this usually looks really great in LOTRO. There are, I will admit, some water pools that look kind of ugly, unfortunately, but this is not one of them, at least to me. That is a boar. Don't want to fight the boar, we just want Knickerbreakers. Are there more Knickerbreakers over here? I wonder if there were the whole time. I don't think I've ever actually searched this particular lake. Or that portion of the lake. Maybe I have then, it's still the same lake. Either way, one thing I wanted to do also today was get some more action-oriented screenshots of this character. Mainly for thumbnails. Okay, not seeing too many enemies that far east. There is one in the water up there. Yeah, it looks like there are Knickerbreakers over there. I don't think I'm running out of them anyway, but it is good to know. I'm just basically going in a circle around this lake. Except for that part, I suppose, way over there. So I do only need 24 more Breakers. I know we've been here forever. I was supposed to be getting deadly Brigands, but I think I have been here almost half an hour, or maybe even around half an hour. Don't know what I was running into there, that was weird. But about half an hour of Breaker killing. I'm supposed to be killing Brigands and the such. People come here for a deadly Brigand stream as I advertised, and then suddenly I'm just killing Breakers the whole time. That's kind of what it feels like. But it is okay to me. Because I'm low level and getting experience slowly, oddly doesn't feel like as much of a grind. It feels like less of a grind because of those, I guess, limitations, those constraints. Compared to if I were, say, higher level or just like plowing through these things, I'd feel like it's going slowly, but I guess my expectations are it's going to be slow. And it's helpful for my character's progression, not just virtue XP wise, but actually character XP wise. Leveling my character up, it's helpful with that as well, and I don't think I'm over-leveling or over-killing things just to do this deed. I mean, I'm only level 15. I think my quests are level 15, 16, and I have plenty of content ahead of me. But I just don't feel that issue with these slower progression. Alright, I am running a little bit low on health, and I see I need to eat another consumable. So Shiniro, you have played some Final Fantasy XIV, which I played a little bit of. I got out of the habit of actually playing that game. I might try Tuesday this week, but I'm not entirely sure. That is a possibility. I haven't planned that far out to head yet. I think I was hoping on Monday to go back to Arkenstone and continue my progress in the Azenobalzar zone. There was some weird display glitch. There it is. It almost looks like there's a rope going out of the tree. Right there. It briefly came into view, and as that thing, whatever that is, should come back in a moment, maybe? Here it is again. It's like I have to change the camera angle to see it, and then the tree moves and it disappears. There are actually a few of those going out of the tree. That is weird. Seemed to be just a tree thing. Anyway, more Breakers. And anyway, with Final Fantasy XIV, on that topic, it does run smooth. That is definitely true. I don't know if this is the sole reason as far as optimization, but I know that game is multi-threaded, so at least has that going for it to help it run smooth. Hunter tree tripwires plastonic, that is possible. Looked like it did look like it could be tripwire type things. I think I'm in a ground effect, which I got hit by anyway. Oh. There's some floating grass there. Fortunately, that is an issue sometimes in LOTRO, just little display errors like that, or misplaced, I guess, shrubbery, scenery, and the such. Frills, I think, is what they actually are. If I turn my frills off, I think that grass would disappear as a whole. That axe cosmetic, I can, and hello to you, yeah, Karak. Or dealing with this Breaker. Slowly dealing with it. Soon I will get more trait points, like right now actually. Remembered I have one more to spend. I still don't quite feel the need to get parry chance, but that's something to keep in mind. I could put points into it. Anyway, the axe. Before I forget about it, once again, this is from a quest, I believe. Bane of the Dour Hands, rather. I used to call them Durhands before I learned differently. And that is the axe. I don't remember the exact source, but it was somewhere in Ear of the Wind, and it probably had to do with Dour Hands, one of the quests for them. It's actually a pretty nice looking axe for a low level item, level 15, so probably like a level 10-ish quest, if I had to guess. might not even be a level 10 quest, but low level quest in here of the win. This character still looks like a captain. I want to get him a nice heavy armor set, but unfortunately I don't personally have any, even on all the like old pre-order bonuses and the such. I don't think I have a good heavy one for a Guardian. So this guy is wearing one of the, I want to say Rise of Isengard. This could have been Riders of Rohan, but either way, I'm wearing one of those cosmetic sets. And it is the white one. I actually like using that one on captains, but it sometimes makes me think this character is a captain, but he is a Guardian. And the late teens, I think, are going to be important levels for this character because my level 17 trait will go to Thrust, which will be quite a boost, I think. And then Broad Strokes, I can get Sweeping Cut to be a lot better when I get rank 2. Guaranteed bleed on that will be nice. Okay, so Neeker Breakers, we need 11 more, and then we'll be done with them. Hope you all don't mind the content, it's kind of repetitive, I guess. At this point, I am feeling like that I'm killing these Neeker Breakers for a little bit long, but hope you all don't mind me just running this deed here. I've killed 80 Neeker Breakers today so far. So we've gone on quite the massacre right now. And the Neeker Breakers, while they keep repopulating this area, they probably aren't too happy with me. I don't know in short fights like this if Thrust would be the biggest help. Of course, the specific mobs I'm dealing with, the Neeker Breakers, it would still damage them while they're burrowing. But if I'm killing mobs fairly quickly anyway, I think Overwhelm would do more damage. Get all the upfront damage on that. That is, again, if Thrust doesn't have time to actually get a bleed tick or two. Okay, 7 more. Like, that was a quick kill. They didn't even get to burrow, which with the green ones is nice because, as we have seen, they heal up all the way when they do get a chance to burrow. I wonder if I have the stuff where I could actually craft myself a level 15 weapon. Let's see, 4 more Neeker Breakers. Don't want to kill too many. Karpov. For some reason that name sounds familiar. Just some random person in world chat talking about the... Actually, that wasn't even them. I thought that was the name when somebody was talking about Deadly +6 killing, one-shotting you. Which is true, that is something I've run into with my Runekeeper running with my kinship. If I get aggro on something, there's a decent chance, it seems like, especially if they get a crit, that I will just be one-shot by an on-level mob. So have to make sure tank gets aggro, and if the tank gets one-shot, you have to make sure you can run away and avoid getting hit somehow. Okay, got that. We got a point in fidelity, 2 rank up actually. But yeah, as far as virtue XP, once again as a reminder, empathy, discipline, and determination, and charity, all those were virtues I did not want. If I had my choice in the 6th virtue, currently I'm working, the plan for this character at least, right now is loyalty, wit, valor, honor, and fidelity. The reasoning for that is loyalty is just a solid virtue, especially at higher levels in particular. And then honor is a good morale boosting one and also does come with the benefit of tactical mitigation and crit defense. Wit and valor are both really good for damage. Wit, especially for the finesse, is really nice. At this point, it's probably quite impactful. Actually, that is something I'm curious enough. Let's test. Let's get rid of wit. My finesse is 8% without it, and suddenly 11.7% with it, so that's very impactful. And just by comparison, we can actually look at Valor as well, 72% damage, mastery that is. And then yeah, Valor is significantly more impactful, I would say, than Wit, but if I remember correctly, Oh, it's been so long I forgot exactly how that works, exactly how the weighting works on that, but 10% mastery, as far as I know, is significantly better than the change in finesse I got right there. But finesse is important for more than just hitting. I guess more so in that hitting allows you to get the benefit of skills even outside of the actual hit. But anyway, that's those two virtues. And then fidelity is for the tactical mitigation and vitality aspect of it. Mainly, and the tactical mitigation seems like it could be helpful against the flame strike effect from the Eye of Sauron. But I'm not entirely sure that that is going to be the best virtue, but that is the current plan. Otherwise, I would still probably build this character more DPS oriented. Another option as like a 6th virtue as a backup instead of all these ones that I don't want would be fortitude, or perhaps either confidence or zeal. I would probably go with the zeal. If I remember correctly, it's more efficient than confidence. Even though confidence is really nice with the critical rating, which is a nice stat, and for endgame, there might be situations where you prefer confidence than zeal, if that is what you need, but as far as stat efficiency, the benefit you get out of zeal versus confidence, the physical mastery gives more, I think, overall. So yeah, that's the plans with virtues for this character. And with all the deeds that I'm going to be doing while leveling, such as the one I just did, I might actually run into that situation where I'm leveling a 6th virtue, which I definitely agree, Plastonic, at level 130 it's a huge grind. And I also think it is better to get the deeds done while leveling. That's one reason I like the server and think it's less of a grind to get virtues up, is because you're doing it all while leveling, and you're still progressing your character's level, and you're getting the deeds done at the same time. Instead of out-leveling the stuff and then you're doing the deeds over leveling, and you're just doing the deeds to get the virtue XP, and just trying to kill things quickly, but then it feels like it goes slowly. At least that's what I feel like when I'm doing them over leveled. So, not the best feeling to me personally. Informing Grimier. Yes, we need to go to Chief Watcher Grimier, way up north. Oh yeah, so Brigands, that is another deed that I could do, not the half-orcs, but maybe we'll do Brigand Slayer as well. On the theme of deeding, and I need to sneeze. So maybe I'll sneeze soon. No, I think it's gone away now that I talked about it. That is really annoying. But anyway, let's go ahead and track the Brigand Slayer. And after that, we'll have 2 of the 8 Slayer deeds done for Bree-land. So still plenty of kills to go around, plenty of XP from killing enemies. Ideally, this character will be pretty completionist with every zone I do. It'll be Bree-land, which I hope gets me into the low 20s. Even the mid 20s wouldn't be bad to start North Downs a little bit ahead. And then, yeah, doing all the Slayer deeds and the such should help quite a bit with that. The killing XP you get from just grinding mobs is not that much, but it does add up over time, especially after you killed so many things. And I will point out, we do at least get 20% XP boost on monster kills with the thing. And yes, the Valor boost, level 121, is 75% off. The problem is I don't actually have anybody to boost. Well, I think that is a great sale, and it's something worth saving LOTRO points for if you're interested in doing endgame and not doing a lot of the grind to get there. It is very much so a great deal. I don't know, I honestly struggle to think if that is a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's bad because it highlights how big of an issue not just leveling in LOTRO is, but getting endgame ready with virtues, legendary items, and the big annoying one for me. Oh yeah, Brawler class. Could do it for the Brawler. That is a great point, Salty Scrunt. I should do that. I should log out right now and go to Arkenstone and do that and then come back. But the other reason I would want a Valor boost is for Anor, because we will be getting level 120 soonish there, but the problem is I can't get it on Anor, and I can't transfer a character to transfer the level boost to Anor. So I can't really do much to benefit that server and give me some Valor boost there. What are we doing, just killing Brigands? I don't know how I got this far into the camp, but yeah, we'll kill some Brigands, get that Slayer deed done, and then move on, start moving up north, I think. I think level 15 is a good level to start heading north. I don't feel too under-leveled that way, and definitely don't feel over-leveled. Finesse is also hard to get plastonic. You mentioned in your experience it doesn't really become noticeable until level 85-ish. It's also hard to get at these levels. Some crafted gear pieces will occasionally have finesse. They have been updated to have that, but a lot of the older armor never really had finesse, and as far as I am aware, a lot of it hasn't been updated to include finesse, so it can be hard to cap that and get it at a good value until higher levels. That was a big crit. Can still get really big crits with the difficulty up. Okay, I thought about it a lot, and I think at this point I've just thought about it so much that I won't forget to get that Valor to save up for the Brawler. One thing I'm hoping with the Brawler class, I don't know if Standing Stone Games will do it this way, and it's probably not good for everybody, but when they do the so the Brawler essentially, as far as I am aware at this point, it sounds like they are still going to have that as a pre-order for Gundabad. It might not release until Gundabad, it sounds like now. It seems like they're not 100% set on that anymore, or never were 100% set on that, but almost leaning towards a later release date with the Brawler. But either way, one thing I would hope is that they, kind of like Minas Morgul and Mordor, include a boost. Ideally it would be a level 130 boost to jump straight into the Gundabad content. Oh, that is a good point, Plastonic. I'll get on that in a minute, but with Gundabad, ideally they would include a level boost with whatever edition you get, and you could use that on the Brawler, essentially. That is kind of what I was assuming I would do, unless I did get a Valor and saved it up specifically for that character, but it's just something that never came to my mind. Never actually properly thought about that. Okay, so about not getting deflected much or missing much, ooh, that was a very good crit. Like, not that it did a lot of damage, it was a 320 Devastate, but that was a very timely crit. That could have potentially saved me. I even had my potions on cooldown. That's actually extra, yikes. Okay, let's have some consumables. Could actually eat the bread instead of pretending to eat the bread. The blueberry muffin. But with that, perhaps one thing in LOTRO that I am honestly not all that familiar with is maybe at low levels you don't need that much finesse. Perhaps having enemies, they don't even have like an 11.7% chance to BPE or resist. Their stats at this level just aren't that high, so it's not that important for you to get finesse. Now, I did have a block there, a partial parry, but a lot of my attacks are actually landing, and I think that is a good point that I'm not... Well, actually, there was a parry. If I pay attention to it, maybe that actually isn't true, but there was a partial evade. Very bad examples with these combats, but maybe that is one thing though, just one reason you run into that as a lot is, I would have to load combat analysis to know for sure, but maybe with these guys they just don't have that high of a chance to BPE resist relatively. Thought I was running into an issue with YouTube again, but things look fine with the stream. Unless people cannot watch the stream, in which case they probably can't even hear me say this to comment it. Ooh, that is a nice earring. The 20 critical rating. The vitality is appealing. I don't know about the critical rating. Okay, so we have right now a 6% crit chance and a 72% mastery. Numbers are quite easy when they're that round. And we go up to 6.3, but then mastery goes 71.2. I am confused. Okay, 72, that is right. So yes, the new earring is better than the might one. My crit increases more. That is for long duration fights. Short duration ones, it could actually be a little bit worse. Okay, let's get... I guess we'll get the one at melee range right now. Though ideally, I would get the range guy first. Things did not seem to align with that idea. So Salty Scrunt, glad you are finally learning how to properly use your Warden. They're a quite fun class, especially when you learn all the gambits and all the different things you can do. I think it would be a great class to do this landscape difficulty feature on. Even deadly max difficulty on tier 9, you could kite things. That is my... If you get one shot on tier 9, no matter what class you are, even if you're a tank, I don't know if that's always true, but if you get killed super quickly, the highest priority on the landscape, I feel like, should be avoiding getting hit. So having a tank, even a self-healing one such as the Warden, may not actually be the best option. Even something like the Yellow Warning, which is really good at soloing, if they're getting one shot, it doesn't really matter. Which I don't know, again, that is for sure the case with these classes, but if it is, there's so many half-orcs here. I've probably killed enough enemies to get the D done, but haven't killed enough Brigands. Need to make sure I focus on the Brigands specifically. Let's see, what was I going on about? Yeah, with the difficulty, if you do... Let's see, what was I going on about? Trying to remember what I was even saying. If you get one shot, it doesn't matter that you can have increased defense or have self-healing or whatever, because you just get one shot. But if you can avoid the one shots by kiting, crowd control and the such, slowing enemies, and just not letting them hit you in the first place, that's where I see classes excelling actually at something like max difficulty on the landscape. So something like the Yellow Warden could slow enemies, and then something like the Yellow Runekeeper could just stun them and kite them. Something like the Blue Hunter could slow them and kite them. So I think there are some interesting things there where the Yellow Runekeeper and Blue Hunter could actually be really good on tier 9. Compared to what might be obvious ones if they get one shot again. Again, I don't know. Haven't played through tier 9 to know if like a Yellow Warning does in fact get one shot or not. So Plastonic, you said you would take the mastery. My crit is low, and that is true. Not much difference between 11% and 14%, but the reason I went with the crit one here, for anybody curious, is because in long fights in particular, just over time on average, I would do more damage with the crit one. And let's see. Is that this earring? The reason for that is I get... if I had my numbers right, I could have had my numbers wrong. Actually, I did have my numbers wrong. This is not a captain. It looks like a captain. I will admit, this character is dressed and outfitted like a captain, but he is a guardian. I did have my numbers wrong, so I would take the mastery here as well, but the reason... I thought the crit went up 1.3%. That was not the case. But if it went up 1.3% and the mastery went down, I think it was like 0.9%, 0.8%, 0.8%, is that the 1.3% crit would be better than 0.8% mastery. But because that was not the case and it was 0.3% crit versus 0.8% mastery, of course would rather 0.8% mastery. That was a good catch, by the way, if that is what you meant, that I just misread the crit change there. So Salty Scrunt, you started playing LOTRO 4 years ago, and I'm honestly not entirely sure what you mean, but you said you never really got into playing it until the human malware hit. Perhaps you mean some like health issue or something like that is what I would guess, but not entirely sure. Okay, we need one more Brigand. That is good progress. So Treebeard, I do think this game is worth trying. The benefit of LOTRO is it is free to play, while I have to admit the monetization system I don't think is all that great with the game. Oh, you mean, yeah, COVID, that would make sense as well. Unless, actually, the 4 years ago, perhaps that does mean earlier. Not entirely sure, but either way. Glad you were able to get into LOTRO, and it sounds like I would guess you were enjoying it at this point. But one thing that you could try with your friends, this would require the subscription, is to try the new legendary servers. So with these, the level cap is only level 50, which means the content is limited compared to what you would normally have in the game, and you also do have to pay. You have to be a VIP, which is the subscription. Depending on what version of that you get, it's $10 to $15 a month. But with these servers, they're pretty new, so there's a lot of people, and a lot of people concentrated at the lower level ranges, so you'll probably run into a lot more people than you would, even some new players. I've heard a surprising amount of new players playing on this particular server, Treebeard. And there is a new feature to increase the landscape difficulty. LOTRO in general is a fairly easy game to just plow through landscape content and level up open world content. You know, questing and all that sort of stuff that you do, leveling in an MMO. But with this server, there's the feature to turn the difficulty up. You get a little bit more rewards. Virtue XP would be the main one I'm concerned with, but you do get a little bit extra XP killing mobs. And you also get some titles for getting level 50 and 130 without turning the difficulty up. But another benefit of this particular server that I find is oddly reducing my XP, and that might sound like a weird thing. And this is something I would have thought was super weird and would have gone against like all my thinking back in the day about MMOs, but reducing the XP in LOTRO I actually think is a fun thing. This particular server, Treebeard, you only get 40% of normal XP, so 60% XP reduction, but the slower leveling helps keep you on level with the quest, especially if you like completionist style and doing deeds and the such. To me, I talked a little bit about this throughout the stream, but it makes it feel like less of a grind going through like killing 90 certain types of enemies in the zones and the such. It oddly feels like less of a grind with a server like this, so I can enjoy the content more. But perhaps if you are a new player, one thing you could do to even see if you like the game is to at least try it on a regular server before you do decide to maybe invest and get the subscription and join this fairly new server that came out. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Don't remember exactly when it came out anymore. Actually, it was less than 2 weeks ago. It was like 12 days ago, something like that. A week and a half ago? Which, yeah, that would be about 12 days. But anyway, perhaps that could be a strategy that might work for you. See, there's a band of players. I don't know that they're all new players, but they're all players at least grouped up. I would guess most of the people here aren't new players, but I have just heard a surprising amount of people, more than I expected, that are like new to the game that decide to try this server. A good server for regular LOTRO. So I play it on Arkenstone. I don't find it to be a bad server. In fact, I find it to be a good server. People also recommend, I think, Landerval. If you're looking for one of the more populated servers, though, that would be Arkenstone would be a good one. I've also started to hear more people from Gladden recently. I don't need these tools here, so I can destroy them. I've also heard from more people that play Brandywine lately, but I don't think there is a bad server choice. So plastonic, the problem there is 1 to 5% is actually a huge jump that's increasing. That's multiplying your crit chance by 5 times, for example. So you'd be critting like 5 times as often, and going from 25% to 29% would actually be less of a relative gain in crit. But one thing that is true is on the general landscape, when you're killing things quickly, you might not run into the benefit of crit quite as much. Because just boosting the flat damage of a lot of your attacks. Let's see, I need to start this over. So if you rely too much on crits, you can just overkill enemies and you won't really get the value out of the crit compared to just boosting your base damage. It's something that I guess is harder to realize in actual practice, even though the theoretical damage and over time damage, boosting 1% crit is better than boosting 1% mastery. Like 1% crit chance is better than 1% mastery increase in LOTRO, I believe. I was looking at this earlier. LOTRO has a lot of complicated things going on with crit. There is, at the baseline, crits do 1.5 times damage of your normal attacks, but then you also have the critical magnitude, which at low levels is often very low. Like right now, my crit magnitude is only 10.3%. So the critical magnitude is not that high. As far as I remember, that would essentially mean I do 160.3% damage of a normal attack. But if you look at your skills, the damage they do is a range 82 to 116 here. Getting a crit will make that roll the maximum damage. So that's another benefit of it. And on top of that, I don't know if a Guardian is a great class to show right here. Perhaps they have something like this. Yeah, there are some skills like this, Hammer Down, that do, as it says here, inflicts increased critical damage, so it has an even higher critical multiplier on its own. So that's another thing to benefit crit chance. And then there's even the devastating attacks, which do, I think, 2 times damage at baseline. So like with me, it would be 210.3% damage. So there's all those things going on that make it super complicated in LOTRO. So for most characters, at most points, I would value around 1% crit to equal 1% damage, 1% mastery, but I don't think that's always the case. Like right now for this character, I would probably be a little bit lower. Perhaps it would be like 0.8 mastery. I would value about the same as 1% crit right now. But I also get what you mean. 1 to 5% being not that noticeable with crit chance that is a really low number. So you're already critting 1 in every 100 attacks, and you go up to 5 in every 100 attacks. You're still not critting that often, so you probably won't realize the difference all that much. In normal combat, it probably won't come up that much. But over time, it would still be quite valuable. 117 degrees Fahrenheit today. That is quite hot. Here I am feeling a little bit warm, and it is 74 degrees in here. That is a bit warm to me. I'm still used to winter temps indoors, unfortunately. That's a level 8 right there.
What do you need? Might I speak with you a moment?
They have the midsummer stuff. Maybe that's what they're doing? I just don't know exactly why there's a level 8 right here. Let's see, what time is it? It's 8:52. See, I got started with this stream. It's not like I got started with it that late, but I was before I knew exactly what was going on today. Again, I had a Dungeons and Dragons session that ran long, but also did not know for sure we were even doing that today, and oh, they were waving to me. Either they noticed me, my character, or noticed like I clicked and paid attention to them, maybe. Don't know. Shadow. I thought that said Shadowfax for a minute, which is the name of the other legendary server. But I'm all distracted for what this character needs to do. I think we're doing Adso's camp stuff, which I forgot that even led to Adso's camp. I think that's a good thing I can do. I just know I'll kill more brigands, which is okay. But maybe I'll hold off on this. I'll get these quests, but I think I'll hold off on them for now because I wanted to head to the north and do the northern Breefield stuff for now. Yeah, Plastonic, that is good to know what you meant. I did just want to clarify for people wondering how I think about stats in LOTRO. I made a whole video on this, comparing all of them and the general weight of them, because it's very much so not clear in LOTRO. I think a lot of games crits do double damage. At LOTRO, that is not the case at baseline, but then you also have all these other factors going into it. And for certain classes, like Yellow Runekeeper is one that comes to mind. I think Red Hunter would be another example. Probably some stuff with Champion, Red Champion, I think, where crits are extra strong. So there is just a lot of stuff going on there that makes crits quite valuable. But again, if you're just killing like a mob like this where you kill it really quickly anyway, perhaps killing it at one fewer attack just by boosting your damage would be more impactful than boosting your crit if that doesn't change the number of attacks or time to kill an enemy. Not that it matters all that much, all this little min-maxing type stuff. I don't think it matters all that much where you like won't get through the content or you will get through the content. Difference maker with that. But it's something that just allows you to get through things a little bit easier, I guess. Yeah, a lot of people, I think Landreval, even though so many people recommend it, when you look at the stat sites, which I honestly don't know how accurate those are, and you also run into the issue of players potentially playing anonymous, which is just a thing. If you check it right here, then you don't show up in like the entries here to see how many people are online. So that's something that can, if you see any stats between these servers, that can change it. But I see a lot of people recommend Landreval. I even had characters there for a brief time period. I still have them, I guess I just don't really play them. Okay, I'm missing quests. I thought they were over here. Maybe they're in the field just slightly north of here. That is entirely possible. Oh, there's also that turtle quest. I forgot about it a little bit, to be honest. We'll go back and get it, but these are the quests that I think I need to start. These will get me on track with this stuff over here. They're kind of random quests. I honestly don't remember if there's something that actually leads you here. Maybe doing the book quest would lead you. Here, I don't know, but for anybody that doesn't know, there's a whole quest chain that starts right here, and it starts with these three. The bear, wolf, and bear... I already said bear. Bear, wolf, and boar. There we go. Took a while for this horse to jump up there, but what I want to do is go get that turtle quest, because I don't know exactly when it comes into play, but seeing those little turtles reminded me that that is something I want to make sure I actually pick up in Bree-town, in Bree-land right now. This is Bree, also sometimes known as Bree-town, it seems. So Brandywine doesn't have that many trolls, it sounds like, and just generally less toxic chat there. That is good. I thought for a while, it could definitely still be true, that a lot of the Russian community for LOTRO played on Brandywine. Time to test Bree for performance. Yeah, every time I look over at like my preview for the face cam and such, I know I have my head resting on my hand right now, but it looks weird to me. It should be the same as it was, so back in the day I would look this way when reading chat, and that should look more normal to me, but it just looks weird every time I look over. And yes, looking to the right does look more normal to me. I guess just looking to my left makes everything feel all out of whack with getting used to the new setup. Hopefully for you all it's not as bad, but for me it's surprisingly making me fit Master Potter. That must be, I would guess, a Midsummer thing. That is good that they speak English. This is probably a Midsummer thing as well. No, it is not. This is Southgate. Okay, I'll accept that quest. I'll turn floating names on to make sure I don't miss this thing. There might be other places to get this, but I thought if I went this way, I'd have a little bit of a higher chance. So you have my second monitor with the old setup. If you weren't familiar, Stormwolf, you might be. It used to be on the right, and then I flipped everything. Essentially flipped my desk, so I used to have everything pointing, like my desk was here. I don't know if y'all can see where I'm pointing, but my desk was here, and I was facing that way, and my back was against the wall. But I decided a few months ago that I thought about changing things to open things up. And I would test it out, and here is the posted build that I want. Turtles in the Soup, level 14. Let's see if the other one I can interact with. Nope. There might be one other, but I think that is it. Turtles in the Soup is actually... There's one quest at least. Over here, I also have my class quest. That is totally a thing, right? I'm level 15. Let's see, do I get that in the mail? There it is. A few good reasons to stop by Bree. Ill Association, not doing that right now. But yeah, now I do have my second monitor to the left. And hopefully, I might be upgrading to a third monitor setup. Mandrake Shop? I don't remember if I've actually done this set of quests. I've been aware of it. It's just something I don't really think about doing with my characters. And I just don't remember specifically a Mandrake's shop before. That dog looks bloodied up or something, or at least muddy. It looks like it's supposed to be like chewing meat or something. I don't know. Like it looks like it's chewing something, but it's chewing air, pretending it's eating something. He also looks a little bit chunky, I guess, but maybe that was just the viewing angle. Anyway, it's a good boy. One thing I'm curious, I always play with the ambient light up just because I usually like that to see better, but yeah, this looks a little bit more nice, I guess, with the ambient light down. Scottish Wolfhound, it does. There are a lot of hounds that look like that, and perhaps I'm not immediately familiar with that breed, but perhaps that's what it looks like. I don't know if it is, it could be those are just markings, but based on the appearance of it, it almost looks like perhaps blood or just messiness. Ah, destiny points. That's something that's easy to forget about. Somebody in World Chat talking about that. The way to bring that up, I guess, is just regular B. Go to perks, then you can spend your destiny points. I think you have to be a VIP to spend those. You can get accelerated XP. That's probably the most use out of them that I usually get. There's some other things that are a little bit minor, but that's the main thing I usually get. But yeah, I do think there's some things, I don't remember exactly what they provide, but some things that can be otherwise useful. Usually I do not do that in the area door levels. It would be if I want to skip a certain level range, or not really skip, but get quickly ahead of a certain level range, or just want to quickly level up for some reason, which usually is going to be at the higher levels in the game. Okay. I don't know where I'm going, clearly. We're just messing around in Bree-land. Taking a... Oh, there's a brigand. Looks like a brigand, at least. If he's not a brigand, he should change his appearance because he looks too much like a brigand. Someone turned a pile of mud into a dog. If you're referring to that dog, it's a little bit too much in motion. Could have been animatronics, is that what it's called?
Will you give me a moment of your time?
Don't want that. Okay, so we have the class quest over here. We have Tad's request down there. And then we have Turtle making in the soup. Collect tiny turtles. Yep, we do have to go back to that Knickerbocker Lake. I should have known. I should have come right up here and should have known that was what was going to be coming up. But let's get the Guardian class quest. And go ahead and do that. Somebody mentioned to me that there's a certain trainer here. There's a brawler trainer right here. Brom Hawksbeard. Unfortunately, my class is not compatible because I'm not a brawler, but we do have a trainer. I don't know if these are the guys he's training. These look to be... Oh, you can open that. I thought these people are supposed to be in jail, but you can just open these apparently. They don't run out. Oh no, Stormwolf, your game client is crashing. That is not good. She looks so sad. Now she is free, but she's too busy being sad to actually escape. This one's just crying in the corner. Oh no. Anyway, distractions and LOTRO. I have class quests to do, I think. There's a Warden trainer. Here are more people. This guy's cleaning out that cell. Yeah, you can just open these. They don't do anything. Oh well. We'll let them be. This guy is reading a book. Can't quite see the words there. Okay, let's leave this very interesting building. Unexpectedly interesting, I guess. Okay, so we're going to head down south and get all the Barrow Downs quests, I guess. Oh, these posted bills. I think these ones you can also get the turtle soup stuff, but maybe not this one. That one's still glowing. Couldn't target this one. Oh well. Turtle soup. Turtles in the soup being different than actual turtle soup, which is what I call it. Turtle soup is what people call turtle sometimes. Ooh, vine killing you in the old forest. That is rough to begin with. Those are so annoying, the vines. They're no longer aggressive. That's something I realized when I was going through on my Runekeeper, and maybe on another character I went through recently, is they aren't aggressive anymore. Those vines used to all be aggressive and they just attack you, and I feel like they were one of the bigger causes of death, at least for my characters back in the day. Okay, got all these high-level quests that we'll maybe do later when we go to the Barrow Downs to Silhouette on this difficulty. Especially the small fellowship stuff should be interesting. Might have to go full blue line for something like that. So far I've been fine on the red line. I don't think I've gotten to a point where I do enough AoE where I'm motivated to switch to the yellow line. But yeah, let's get back on track. Don't want to track any of that stuff. Oh, so you did walk by some... Uh-oh. Okay, that was just so I thought I crashed. I'm paranoid about crashing right now, which I haven't. We have been going for a long while and I haven't, but I was standing still in the game and I looked at my second monitor and everything was still, but it's because I was still in the game. Anyway, with the vines, yeah, maybe there are some aggressive ones, but I thought they were all changed, or at least a lot of them were changed to passive, but they're still really annoying. They still do lots of damage as well. I don't know why, but vines and LOTRO are like strong. Okay, turtles in the soup. Hopefully we're not turning them into turtle soup, especially tiny turtles. Oh no, he is making soup. He's putting them in soup, and they're tiny turtles, too. They're not like big, annoying, aggressive turtles. They're tiny, innocent turtles. Killing 43 more spiders in the old forest. Have fun with that. Trying to think, there are spiders, I think, in some of the barrows in Barrow Downs as a potential alternative. Okay, it looks like I can catch the turtles and catch some taters on the mount and silver deposit. Okay, I'll catch all these non-turtle things for a moment, then we'll go back to the turtles. Are the turtles, they don't get targeted with delete, but they get targeted with F10. Because they're tiny, they're hard to target. So I'll just press F10, and catch them. They are faster than you expect. I don't think so. That one's standing still. Oh, I already got all of them. Okay, back to Turnin. Not too familiar with this quest line again, but I think it eventually leads up into the northern Breefields area, the place up north here, near Ninharn. Temperature still doing good on my CPU after all this time, so that is good. I noticed Bree isn't all that laggy. My FPS definitely gets lower, but it feels pretty normal. Like normal low FPS in Bree to me, so I'm honestly not that bothered by it, but maybe that's because my expectations are for LOTRO to not be smooth, if anything. Still on max settings, but again, without, for anybody that hasn't been here, without DirectX 10 or DirectX 11, stuck on DX9, but at max except for fill density. I think I turned that down or something. Actually, I don't know. I should be on ultra high. I don't think that changed anything. Oh, I did texture cache size and player crowd quality. Still turn those down. And the sync to refresh rate VSync. Have that on. The Old Forest, though, on the note of the spiders, that is definitely a good place to get spiders. So while there might be some alternatives, as far as I know, it's still the best place to quickly get some spiders for that deed. Did this dog change? Am I crazy, or did this dog actually change? They already replaced the dog with a new one? Or did they just dye its coat black? Wow, Salty, your average FPS is 160 plus? That is crazy. So I do have VSync on. That is why mine is locked to 60. If I turn that off, you'll see it goes up to like 130 here, but it's actually choppy. Like, I have higher FPS, but it's super choppy because it's not synced to the refresh rate. So there's some weird stuff that goes on there, but syncing it to refresh rate VSync here, it's a lot smoother even though it's lower FPS technically. It is just what the monitor refreshes at, which is 60 hertz, which I am fine with. I know people have been moving to like 144 hertz and even higher than that sometimes. But for me, especially for an FPS like this, I prefer to, I guess, invest my money in other areas on the monitor. Like, I think there was at some point some issue with IPS having a really high refresh rate, or at least being very expensive. But I really like IPS panels for the visual quality of them. And yeah. So, okay, so Salty's Grunt, you do have a 160 hertz refresh rate. So for you, it makes sense that you try to get to that. Alright, virtues. I saw somebody talking about virtues in the world chat. Helpful for me to remind me to look at my virtues. I need to get level 16, and they'll all go up to level 8. And at that point, I can start earning loyalty, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that.
Greetings, friend.
Okay, did that. Oh, this goes way down there. Shield against adversity. Is that have I been working on my Guardian class quest? Grubbo's request, that is Staddle? We're off adventuring places I don't know. Some cows. There we go. Got some screenshots of the cow. Could potentially have the dog or the cow in the next thumbnail. So Logan McGinley, you are wondering on some advice of what you should spend your LOTRO points on. So you're a returning player and you're enjoying Treebeard. So one of the... Actually, I came into Scepter monitors. Don't Don't know quite about a curved one. Could definitely like that. Don't think it would be a bad thing, but one thing with monitors is I got the one I have right now, I think, pretty cheap. It was... don't remember exactly. I don't think it was $200. I thought it was less than $200 for 32-inch 1440p IPS. And nowadays, when I looked at monitors, they were all a lot more than that for the same stuff, which seems to be the case of a lot of general technology stuff lately. Speaking of those issues, one thing with RAM, and even getting thought about getting a solid state drive or something, again, all that stuff seems to have gone up in price the past about year and a half or something. Even outside of, I guess, the more popularly talked about GPU shortages and the such. Anyway, maybe in the future, if one of these monitors decides to go kaput, basically, I will definitely look into that because of the recommendation of Scepter. I want to say Spectre, but it's Scepter. Or Scepter. Actually, probably Scepter without the hard C sound, but I don't know. Anyway, we are defending Burl Pearson. Is that how you would say it? Oh, I'm being a guardian. Is this what an actual guardian does? They have to run up to archers who would just fight them from range? I think a hunter would be a better guardian for him. Who's that guy? Oh, it's Ned Pearson. Or is that the reason I have sprint? I'm supposed to sprint up to that archer. Oh, that's a closed off well. Oh, I can't even hit that raider. So advice on spending LOTRO points. Sorry, got distracted from that. One of the big things that I like, if you don't have it, is Journeyman account-wide writing. To me, that is one of the better things I've ever spent my LOTRO points on, because all the new characters I make, and this is coming from somebody who has, throughout Arkenstone, Nor, Landreval, and now Treebeard, I'm probably getting close to 40 characters between all those. Not that I play them all, but it's something that all those characters have benefited from, is they all get the writing trait included in that, so I don't have to get them that. They also get plus 78% mount speed, or they get 78% mount speed, which would increase your speed by 78%. So that's even the 68%, those fast steeds get up to 78%. And even the 38% ones, such as the baseline Moria Goat, which I believe is 38%, you don't have to worry about getting a fancier one to go faster. It boosts all the mount speeds up to 78% speed. So I really like that, especially as somebody who does play a lot of alts. If you don't play alts, that might not be the best choice for you. There's also inventory space. That is one thing I like to spend my LOTRO points on, or have in the past. It's something I can't get more inventory space than I have now. Other could be potentially some shared storage slots, again, if you like to play alts and would actually utilize it. Same with wardrobe slots. Also mithril coins. This is helpful if you only play on one server, unlike me. But mithril coins are quite useful for a few things. Travel sometimes. That's probably actually one of the bigger uses, I would say, of mithril coins. But there are some other nice things and really expensive things that I don't think you should have to spend 100 mithril coins on, like the additional trait configuration. It is my belief that you should get at least all three of those for VIP. Maybe not necessarily as free to play. Give some extra reason to be VIP. Oh, crafting carry-all, that would definitely be nice. Also, again, if you play on one server, this character could benefit from that, for example. My character is on this server, but that is something that has saved Louisden so much inventory space and so much inventory management on Arkenstone that is definitely something that is quite valuable to get. Even some other carry-alls for you might be worth getting. It's something I always forget about. I forget those are a thing, to be honest. A universal crafting tool, that is quite useful to get. That is only, unfortunately, it's not like an account-wide thing, but it is useful, I think, to get that for a character, especially if you craft on them a lot. There's also like the newer version of that that's like a superior universal crafting tool. I have not actually used that one. All my characters have at most used the regular universal. Actually haven't even gotten that on this server. I've just been using some baseline one that a friend crafted me. Am I still filtered on hunters, or are there just that many hunters right now? Oh, I'm still filtered on hunters. That makes sense. It's like, that's a lot of hunters. My mouth is going all clicky right now. Yeah, unfortunately, if there was something that gave you the universal crafting tool on every character you made, like the journeyman writing trait, I think that would... What? Did I not do what I was supposed to do? There's a good chance I did absolutely nothing in that house, to be honest. I might have walked in, walked out, and done nothing, I think is what happened. Do I even have to go in the house? It says pick up in the shed. Okay, so here's the shed. Let's squeeze in here. Oh, turtles. Grobo's greatest fear? I'm putting them in the little sack there. Oh no. This is one of the cruelest quests I've ever done in LOTRO, it seems like. Yes, you can trade it between characters. That is a good thing to point out, Nancy Boy, is that you can trade it between characters, but you don't get it on each character. If there was something that gave it to each character you made, like the journeyman writing trait, I would really like that feature, but currently there is not. So I have to show the turtle carrying sack with like half the turtles that were in his shed. I have to show it to him.
Goodness. Gracious me.
Now I'm bringing the bag of turtles so they can be turned into soup. This is one of the saddest quests I've done, quest chains I've done in LOTRO. I do not like this quest chain. I don't know if I'll ever want to repeat it. Too much cruelty against the turtles for me. Uh-oh. Okay, so the reason it's getting dark outside is not because it's cloudy, but because it is just getting dark, because it's like 9:20. Here's all these quests that I'm not doing on this character, although I'm kind of close-ish to being on level for them. That's something, I guess, when I do the Marsh Slayer, Sicklefly Slayer deed, I would do it down here. Probably would not wait for Wildwood for that one. Yeah, don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't think I've actually done this turtle quest chain before. I've been aware of its existence. I at least haven't done it where I remember, because I feel like I would remember all this cruelty against the turtles and just not do it. Like big turtles, like the one Plastonic mentioned, the ones in Angmar, there's some in other various regions in LOTRO, but these little tiny turtles, that is when it's really sad. So the reward here is very nice and it's unique for this game. I'll be interested in that at least. Everclear Lake, is that the place I can finally go north for that? No, that is like... Actually, that's the Guardian quest. That is north. Not north exactly where I thought it would be, but that is where we need to get going. Which, speaking of get going, I'm thinking it'll probably be a good point for me to wrap up the stream somewhat soonish. I've been going... Oh, I've actually been going right about 2 hours now. I thought I'd been going a little bit over 2 hours, but we did have the delay there, which apparently seems like it was about 22 minutes. But have made good progress and should probably get going on with some things before I go to bed. Because Moss. 2 people in that kid. And I should also head back this way. There's also Nornuin? Is that the name of the big turtle? Fillicle? That has like so many different names it goes by. It goes by turtle. It goes by whatever it's actually called, its actual name, which I thought might be Nornuin. And then there's Fillicle is the name of the instance with the turtle. Anyway, there's that one, which is more enjoyable, I guess, to kill. So we got a helmet that is very bad. Unfortunate thing about quest rewards, ones that were probably really strong back in the day, crafted gear is so much better now. It's kind of insane. Is probably the way I would describe it, actually. I think I can wait till level 18 to upgrade my weapon. Like, I still, with the increased difficulty, knowing it would make things easier on me, I still like to outfit my character as good as I can. Turtles at Akulf's camp. Don't remember exactly where Akulf's camp is, to be honest. And don't know what Gamera is, unfortunately. And yeah, with the metalsmith crafting you a toolkit, that is an option. That is who crafted me this. I think I'm a weaponsmith, not a metalsmith. Oh yeah, the final Angmar. No, having the add-on is not one, or the big bag is not an add-on. If you go to the edit mode at the top left of bag 1, you can drag all these little slots from each of the individual bags into one bag. That is what I do.
What do you need? Please, stay a moment.
Alright. This is going way back in Breetown. Okay, this quest chain is also too much back and forth. This would be a time I'd consider using Mythro coins. But we'll probably get this quest chain done a little bit more, and that'll be a good time to wrap up the stream. I seem to like to take screenshots at night, but I was just thinking probably a good time for me to get some landscape screenshots, but then they're all in the dark, which usually, especially in an area like this, I don't think turn out the best when thinking about thumbnails and the such. The pink eye above my character is from being on the deadly difficulty on this server, and it's kind of bugged where the eye displays even when you don't have the Eye of Sauron effect on you, so it is basically a bug right now, and I believe they're supposed to not only fix that bug, but they're also going to turn off the blur effect, which is not going on right now, but there's a blur effect that sometimes happens that they're going to turn off, and hopefully they actually fix the eye when they do that, or totally turn off the eye, or have it, ideally to me it would display maybe during combat, but even then, I don't think it's necessary. The effects you get, like when you have the eye above your head, you get the combat effects. You can get the flame strike from the Eye of Sauron here, and I think corruptions can also go on enemies. This is again when you're on the deadly difficulty, tier 3 plus on the new servers. What was the point about that? Yeah, the eye effects, I don't think they're too bad, but the eye displaying over my head constantly, even when I don't have the actual debuff or anything like that. Oh, here's the Brigand.
What is this world coming to?
Ooh, Tome of Constant Experience, plus 10% XP for 6 hours. Slayer Deed Accelerator, which would be quite useful. Class Deed Accelerator, and it unlocks the limit for the length of the effect. Either one of those could be quite useful. Probably would go with the Slayer Deed one. Okay, let's do this travel. I see the unique reward, but still, with that, knowing that, even if there are more rewards, maybe we'll hold the judgment until later in case there are more rewards. Doesn't seem like there would be. I still don't like this quest chain at all. unfortunately. It is one, I will give credit, that it is one that made me pay attention to what was going on. I guess I have to actually look around. It is one that made me pay attention to what was going on, but I don't like it, unfortunately. I don't know who Gamera is. Yeah, I definitely don't know who Gamera is from Japanese monster movies, and he's a good guy. That is good to know. Good turtle. Okay. I was going back up, making sure I didn't miss anything with the chat, and I saw something about pink eye. The first thing I thought of this time was that I, like, had pink eye, like, my eyes were pink. But that was my character's head. Feel very creepy standing there. Character screenshot time. Stretch is usually a decent screenshot, I find. Hold on. Is usually a decent emote for screenshots. Oh, I hope he's not making turtle soup. Oh, this might be... Hold up. I might actually like this quest chain. My mood on it might have immediately changed. Okay, hopefully we do return them. This was about to be one of my least favorite, as you all saw, quest chains in LOTRO. I did not like it, but this part is amazing. Acquired numerous friends, high elf and turtle alike. Nice. This was a complete 180 in emotion with these quests. I have to give credit to whoever worked on this quest chain. Yeah, my thoughts on it completely turned around. Turning the turtles, I gathered maybe like 14 total turtles, I want to say. 6 in the first lake and then 8 from the house. And they were all going to be turned into turtle soup, but now they're just roaming around this guy's house, eating his pies, eating his carrots, eating his grass, eating his many tiny trees, sitting on his bench, chilling in the corner, standing in the inactive fireplace, fortunately, having a conversation, sitting on standing, I guess? I don't know if turtles really sit. Maybe they do. Standing on the chair, standing on the table, taking a nap on the bed. That one's actually in a shell a little bit. Looks like it's laying down. Standing on the stairs. Anyway, there's all the turtles. Oh no, we have to find all of them. That one's being weird on the bed. None of them cozy around this campfire, this indoor fireplace. The stink eye here? Are y'all talking about the Eye of Sauron being the stink eye? I'm totally not caught up on what is going on there. I'm totally confused by the chat right now, unfortunately, about the Xfinity commercial and the last name. But anyway, as far as the stuff here goes, I am happy overall with that quest chain. And yeah, I think that is a good point to wrap up the stream. It is getting a little bit late. And I want to make sure I get these stuff done this evening before the work week starts tomorrow. Oh, Xfinity commercials had turtles who had a high-speed internet. Okay. Really, turtles for high-speed internet. That doesn't make much sense. And Stink Eye is an Italian curse. Okay. Thank you for the information, because I really had no idea what was going on there. I was quite confused, as you could probably tell. By the way, the Curator is back, maybe? Let's see, is the Curator back? The Curator is back. I want to see what they have, because I always forget. Oh yeah, this Golden Forest Defender. Still my favorite. Gray Mountain. I need to find something good for Guardian. I initially thought that was better than it. Yeah, that's ugly. Okay. Gray Mountain Elite. Okay, Gray Mountain Elite is where I could start considering it for Guardian, but still no overall. Chess piece is usually a good indicator. Nope. Definitely not that one. I don't have Figments of Splendor, but thought it would still be good for me to look at some options. Maybe if I look... Yeah, still, I'm not feeling any of these. Actually, blue. Blue would be the only potential option with that last one I had. Let's see. Let's go to blue. Probably Evenden blue. Yeah, still not for me. Nope. I'm pretty sure I don't like any of these as a spoiler, and that does look to be the case, but thought I would look again because I saw this guy was back. Alright, we do have Rowan Raspberry. Again, I don't have Figments of Splendor on this server. At level 20, I can open 4 whole loot boxes, but I probably don't want to address on this character. How about an actual... Nope, not for me. I didn't think I liked it. Yeah, no. Looks like my opinion hasn't changed, basically. Okay, make sure I didn't miss anything there. See, there we go. Wow, nope. Still don't like the Wild Hills one. Yeah, if it's 117 degrees, that is quite hot, especially to be chasing anything, even squirrels for a dog. I feel like I'm, like, blinked down a lot right now. There we go. I was getting too hunched over there. Okay, can't do anything with that. So yeah, it looks like I'm stuck basically with the current cosmetic I have. We can start looking at the skirmish camp when I start getting to that stuff. Might as well go ahead and refresh these rewards while I'm here. Free up an inventory slot. Actually, I'll go ahead and clean my inventory, and while I clean my inventory, I'll go ahead and try to do some outro type stuff. We got the class quest done, we got the other thing done. Probably won't be doing the prologue on this character, as far as I know, in Volume 1 or whatever starts here, but yeah, don't plan to do that. Eventually I do want to do North Downs. Ideally won't have to do Lonelands at all on this character, but it wouldn't be that bad if I do. Probably could run some instances and skirmishes and such if I really need XP. But that's just because I would maybe do Lonelands on my Runekeeper, but I'm not entirely sure actually what I want to do on my Runekeeper. Rowan Bow, probably don't need that. Check all the armor. Otherwise today, I did not crash, did not have any blue screens of death, so that is good. I am down to 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'll work on that later, see if I can get a different configuration with my RAM chips to go back to a higher value. Considering I have 48 gigabytes worth of DDR4 RAM, but just actually getting that all to work together seems to be an issue with the new motherboard and CPU, so... Also could be actually doing tasks to get reputation. Maybe that's something I'll see. So there's wet fur, wet skin, worn sword sheaths, that type of stuff. So let's go back to the town services and look at that. Otherwise, I plan to, I don't really know. I will point out that starting next week, I will probably not be able to do much that week. as in I won't be able to do anything. I'll try to have some videos prepared for that week, but I won't be able to do anything. This week, though, is when I'm going to maybe try to prepare some videos for that duration, for that period. I also do plan to continue streaming Treebeard and maybe even Arkenstone stuff and the such. Tomorrow I am planning on streaming, but I don't know what yet. I'll have to think about that because tomorrow is coming up soon and I'd have to make a thumbnail and all that sort of stuff. But right now I'm thinking I want to continue on Treebeard, but I'm thinking I'll go ahead and do some stuff on Arkenstone. Okay, Warden Sword Chase. Let's get that. Let's start with task. Yep, can do that one. Okay. I should have plenty of these, but I don't actually know. I'll have to go to Second Watcher Heathstraw. He's so far away, though. He's like all the way down here. They're really making me work for this.
Greetings.
Oh, make sure I get this. I always forget, it seems like, to get that, so make sure I get it. Are there any other ones? We had Black and Filth. Black and Goose is the one I have. Let's see. Let's move the task bulletin here, shop here. Broken hatchets. Okay, so that should be good. That should get my 5 tasks done for the day. Wow, 32 gigabytes at 3600 megahertz. I currently have, I should have 48 gigabytes at 3000 megahertz, but the problem is there are 2 different sets of chips. So I have a 16 gigabyte and a Plastonic. I think the way YouTube works is that links just don't work in the comments, unfortunately. I never actually see them. People say they post links or whatever, and as far as I know, they just don't appear. I think they're filtered, whatever YouTube does with a stream chat, unfortunately. So as far as I know, at least, that will not work. Okay, so got the last task there. But anyway, with the RAM, as I keep trying to say this and have tried to say it so many times, and it's always, I don't know why, but I have a set of 2 RAM chips that totals 32 gigabytes between 2 16 gigabyte chips of the same brand, same set, and all that. And then I have another set, an older one, that is 2 8 gigabyte chips for 16 gigabytes total. So it's 2 different brands, but even the ones in the set, the 2 16 gigabyte ones that are in one set that's supposed to be 32 gigabytes total, they both don't work right now. And that's just with upgrading the CPU and motherboard. I did have all 4 in there, and I was able to boot up the computer and all that, but I was getting blue screens of death. And what ultimately worked is having, right now I actually do have both 16 gigabyte RAMs in there, but only one of them seems to be registering. I'm guessing the one I took out for some reason is not. I think I slotted it in all the way. I guess there is the potential that I didn't actually push it in enough, which would be concerning. Anyway, got the task done that I can do for today. But yeah, that's something I'm going to maybe mess around with a little bit. Won't have time to do that. I could look at the timings. That is a good point. I ran into some talk about timings, but I don't know how exactly with the motherboard, the BIOS, to look into that. But yeah, ultimately I could buy more RAM, which would not be ideal, but I could do that. I could just go ahead and do that, and that would be an option. Where can I get this character? I don't know where I'll play him next, so probably good to keep him here near the town services lady. Could be Wednesday, the next time I get back to the server, if I'm going to do Arkenstone tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see what I feel like tomorrow, but I am intending right now on streaming tomorrow. The question is when and what. But yeah, right now the intention is to stream tomorrow and probably Arkenstone, but I feel like I'm working myself up into the mood to just do Treebeard again tomorrow because I'm having a lot of fun with this Guardian and low-level leveling on the higher difficulty. But at the same time, I do want to do stuff on Arkenstone. But yeah, otherwise I will have to think about the RAM, but if I do that, that'll probably be something that I would do in a couple weeks. Otherwise, as I mentioned, I think earlier in the stream at some point, I'm not quite fully finished with my setup. This is sort of a temporary until more improvements are made version of this new setup. It's hopefully will be better. I don't know how much of it you all will see. Should have better lighting right now. I can actually look at this. Right now the lighting should be good, but during the daytime is when it's a little bit iffy. Which right now it's not really. It's basically dark outside, at least as I can tell with my curtains closed. Either way, some of that stuff might get improved in the future, and at least for me with the lighting, I ordered a power strip that is supposed to be able to control it, a smart power strip, actually moving into the present day more and not living in the past of basic power strips where they're just normal and all the such. So I should be able to control that with my phone and just turn on all the lights, because I have a lamp behind my monitor, which is really hard to reach at this point, and I also have, this one's pretty easy, it's just a click, and this other light, I have a remote for it, so it's just a power button, and now it gets all dark on that side when I turn that stuff off. But having all that on one switch will be nice. And I think there are some other things, but otherwise in the future, was talking about my setup, I can show, I think this is the wide view of my setup, the full view we have with the webcam. There's a cat, actually. I don't know if y'all can see it laying on the bed way back there near the cat food bags. And then, yeah, the matched RAM that's why I'd consider actually getting just new RAM. And then there's the cat tree. But thought about adding maybe decorations to give a little bit more color. Like my shirt is gray right now. Everything is gray in the background. The walls are grayish. Everything's so gray, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But anyway, maybe try to change some of that stuff and have better lighting for the streams. And I think I do like this setup better, so hopefully you all do too. I know the map is gone. That was a big exciting thing. I don't know if I have quite the place to put the map. I could perhaps try something, but I'm not entirely sure on that. We can maybe try that at some point. But otherwise, that is all I really do have for this stream. Didn't really plan on going over all the setup again, but since it came up, just as a reminder of what it looks like, and not that y'all can't just see the whole time, but that is what it looks like in the bigger view, and just what I have to work with, basically, like this instead. But I like the setup because it's a lot more open in the room so far. Yeah, YouTube probably wouldn't be happy if I don't even have a firearm to even begin a firearm collection, but to show that, YouTube definitely would not be happy if I did that. So I have some homework, Scott Perry. I thought I was done with homework now that it's the summer. That ain't supposed to come until the fall. And yeah, it always takes me forever to wrap up streams. So I should go ahead and actually wrap things up before I get rambling on about another thing, and we just stare at my character doing nothing in the game here in Bree-land. At least we've had some people run around. Adds some sort of motion of something going on. So let's go ahead and do that. Tomorrow, plan to stream. Otherwise for this week, don't know. That is the future, and that is a plan for the future at least. Everything doesn't go as planned, which has been the case for some streams and the such. But anyway, that is what's coming up. So this very long-winded outro, this one's a really bad one, unfortunately. Can't believe people are actually sticking around to watch me slowly ramble about ending the stream. So let's go ahead and end it. If y'all did enjoy everything we did today with all the deadly brigands and all the Knickerbrickers, the deadly Knickerbrickers and the burrowing ones and the turtle quest, which was a huge 180. That was the saddest quest chain I ever did in LOTRO until the end of the last quest. That was amazing to see that turnaround. I'm ultimately happy with that quest. That is a good thing. So if you all enjoyed all that and all the other things we did, like the Guardian class quest, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support the content like Salty Scrunt, and I think some other people like Andrew were here before, and everybody else who's a channel member like them. If you want to support the content, you can do that. Otherwise, thanks for the last reminder there, Salty Scrunt, too, about getting the 120 Valor boost, because I did forget about that, saving it up for the Brawler class. Otherwise, with this... Let's see, what did I say? Yeah, otherwise with this, thanks for watching, everyone.